So last night, Bitcoin created hidden weekly bullish divergence for the first time since September. The RSI made a lower low here while the price made a higher low. If you look back here, the RSI went below where it was back in September while price made a higher low. And we also saw this back in September. If you look back here, the September RSI low went below the September 2023 low right here, while price made a higher low. And this ultimately led to Bitcoin moving up from around approximately $60,000 on this weekly close all the way to $110,000. So this confirmed weekly bullish divergence does give Bitcoin now an opportunity to make a move much higher here. But in order for that to happen, Bitcoin must clear this major resistance around 89 to 92K level. This is substantial resistance here. Bitcoin might not be able to get through it on the first try, but this is the area it needs to clear. If it can clear this and close a weekly candle back above this area, back above this box, or even within this box, that would be the first sign that bulls have a lot of strength here. If you look back here, we had weekly bearish divergence back here back in December. We saw the weekly RSI make a lower low while price made a higher low, which confirmed this bearish divergence. But when the bearish divergence was confirmed, it pushed down into this support area but did not break through it, and then ended up bouncing here and went to new all-time highs. So despite having this bearish divergence confirmed up here, it was not strong enough to break down through this resistance or support at this time. So on the inverse, there is a possibility that this bullish divergence here might not have enough strength to break through this, but it is yet to be determined, right? I prioritize support resistance over indicators, over divergences. So at this point, all you can do is really just wait and see what happens here, whether Bitcoin ends up pushing through here on the weekly time frame, or it gets rejected here, and then either it takes more time or is just unable to get through this area. So all eyes are now on this resistance as we head into the weekly close. If we go down to the daily time frame, Bitcoin is also testing the 43 SMA, which I like to use here. Bitcoin has been underneath the 43 SMA since way back, since early February. This was on February 4th. It closed below it, has been unable to reclaim it. The 43 SMA currently sits around $89,000. So this is also confluent with this whole area that we're now watching here. So it's important for Bitcoin to reclaim the 43 SMA. This is now moving down. So on this trajectory, Bitcoin probably will have to break through it within a few days, because if this continues to move down and Bitcoin continues to hold up here, it will either have to break through this or get rejected off of it. So that's pretty much what we're watching here for Bitcoin at this point going forward. Now, if we take a look at Ethereum, Ethereum is now trying to push its resistance as well. Ethereum did not make bullish divergence on the last weekly close, but it is now in position to make weekly bullish divergence. The weekly RSI for Ethereum is making a lower low below these November 2022 lows. This was an FTX crash happened. The RSI is currently below that level and seeing a bounce here. So the Ethereum has an opportunity now on this weekly candle to make bullish divergence. But more significantly, if it can break back above this resistance area, this is around approximately 2050. So it's currently above it. If it can close a weekly candle back above this area, reclaim this breakdown, that would be a good sign for Ethereum. It would mean that this was just more of a deviation of the breakdown, and it has since reclaimed it. So we're going to watch both Bitcoin and Ethereum as we go into this weekly close to see if both of them can reclaim their resistance areas that they broke down below, because they're both testing it at this point. If you enjoy my content, I do have referral links in the description below. I have a Coinbase referral link, a Gemini referral link, where if you trade $100, you get $75 in the crypto of your choice. And I also have a Patreon where I have a Discord, and I'm constantly posting frequent updates there. Now, if we take a look at the stock market, the S&P 500 is currently seeing a bounce as well. It's coming up to this resistance area, so we want to see how this reacts. So we're seeing the stock market as well push into resistance. If it can reclaim this resistance area, that would be a good sign for the S&P 500. The weekly RSI is also bouncing here. And then if we look at the NASDAQ as well, the NASDAQ is also bouncing here. The NASDAQ weekly RSI went below the 2023 lows and is currently bouncing. So if the NASDAQ can close like this on the weekly time frame, it will also have bullish divergence similar to what Bitcoin currently has and what Ethereum can also make. So a lot of the markets are bouncing. We will see how this ends up closing as we go into the weekly close. it seems like the markets are at some decision points. They're all testing resistance areas, especially the S&P 500. So a decision will be made on a lot of these markets, whether they're going to break down further and get rejected here or reclaim support and then continue higher and probably push back to the highs. And now lastly, we'll take a look at Bitcoin dominance as well as total 2. Bitcoin dominance has had this weekly bearish divergence for the past month and a half almost now and has really just gone sideways. It hasn't made its decision yet. It is in a strong uptrend, so it favors a continuation. It does have this weekly bearish divergence as well as a second mini weekly bearish divergence potentially forming here. The price is making a higher high while the RSI is still making a lower high. So we'll see if this ends up bouncing or it ends up rolling over and then confirming another bearish divergence here. And if we look at total 2 actually had a confirmed bullish divergence. This is everything but Bitcoin, all the alts but Bitcoin. This includes Ethereum as well. So total 2 has bullish divergence here. This was confirmed yesterday. This was a lower low on the RSI, higher low on the price. The main resistance area would probably be up here, so it does have some upside to get through before testing resistance. So we'll watch to see how this all ends up playing out. The bullish divergences do not guarantee that these resistances will be broken by any means. It does favor upside, but the resistance is more important. So we will watch to see how this ends up playing out. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on X, make sure to follow me on YouTube as well. I will see you guys in the next video.